Hello, everyone. Welcome to the topic of today that is on writing the literature review. So this is the second topic of the entire 12th lesson of the course. So this topic is the most important components of your research project because it forms the theoretical and scholarly foundation for everything you do in your study. By the end of the session, you will understand what a literature review is, how it works, and how to write one effectively. A literature review is not simply a list of articles you have read. It is a structured synthesis of previous studies related to your topic. Through reviewing past literature, you highlight what is already known, what remain uncertain, and how your research contributes to the field. So it is both descriptive and analytical. The literature review serves several critical functions. It sets context. It identifies story and consolidates prior findings. Most importantly, it helps you to identify gaps and the limitation uh, that exists in your research so that you can justify why your study needs to be conducted. When writing a literature review, we often use the funnel approach. That is start with the broad background information or general theories related to your topic. Then progressively narrow the discussion to specific construct that your research covers. Finally, connect all of these directly to your research model and to the hypothesis. Your literature review must follow a clear structure. You begin with an introduction that sets the scope. Then you move into the thematic or the conceptual review, followed by relevant theories. After that, you review the empirical findings from past studies. And finally, you will synthesize all of these elements to show what is missing and what is weak, that will turn into becoming your research gap. So in a conceptual review, you define and explain each of the construct related to your study. Show how different scholars define this concept and highlight which definition your research will adopt. So this section is where you demonstrate your understanding on the construct that you are applying for your own project. The theoretical framework acts as the foundation of your model. It actually explains why your variables are related. For examples, if you are study about the behavior of consumer or the behavior intention, you may want to use the theory of planned behavior. So always justify why the selected theory is appropriate and link them to each construct of your research model. In the empirical review, you focus on what previous researchers have found. Okay, you may discuss trend, you may discuss similarities, or even you discuss the inconsistency of findings from the past studies. If some study report significant results, while some other studies did not, so you have to highlight this contradiction and explain what they may imply to your own study. A common mistakes students might engage into is to uh, produce a descriptive list of articles. A strong literature, it actually review, synthesize, meaning that you connect, you compare, and you contrast, or even you critique the article. You might want to ask yourself, what do these studies collectively show? What do they fail to address? What direction do they point forward? So the research gap emerge naturally once you synthesize past study. It might be a population, that has not been studied. It could also be a variable relationship that lack evidence, or even the methodological that is weak, like it has small sample size. So clearly stating the gap will strengthen your justification. So in academic writing, always put priority on the recent, credible, peer-reviewed sources. Organize your literature logically by theme or by variable. You should use link phrases such as however, or in contrast, or similarly, to show there's a flow and coherence in your writing of the literature review. So this particular slide show the recommended structure of your chapter 2. Following this format will help you to ensure that your literature review flows smoothly from general concept to specific empirical findings and ends with a clear research gap. In conclusion, the literature review forms the intellectual backbone of your research. It helps you to justify your problem statement, it helps you to establish your theoretical foundations, and helps you to identify gaps that your study aims to fulfill. So mastering the literature review is key to produce a strong research project. Okay, so that's all for now. We will meet again in the future video recording. Bye.